right, Path of Exile fans, we are back to another episode of my first ever Zero to Hero in Path of Exile, where I've still got my one goal. I want to try to one-shot pretty much everything I can, including the Mercenaries, as I work through acts, of course, which I've already done, and now getting into maps. So this episode is going to be the end of the white maps for me. And so let's go ahead and continue where we left off. We've got a tier 4 rare. Here we go. It's dead. Unsurprisingly, I've fully upgraded this character. So everybody, let's let the one-shots roll here with a little montage. All right, everybody, here we go. Tier 5. This is a courtyard tier 5 rare, and we got 23% more monster life. Let's kill these randoms first. All right, here we go. This is a 3 boss map. I'm gonna try to one-shot all 3 of them. Here we go. A little bit of lag. Boom, you're dead. All right, how about you? How about you? All right, good. Wait, I missed. This is a dual strike. It's not usually this bad. Ah! All right, can I get a hit? Oh, all right. What the heck was that? All right, let me run that one again. I think something weird happened there. All right, here we go. Back in a rare courtyard. 15% more monster life. So more monster life again. Let's see if I can get a little cleaner this time. All right, here we go. Going for the little cleaner one here. Okay. All right. Tap you. Oh, that was one tap. All 3 in one shot. That's the normal, everybody. The last one wasn't normal. That was, I think the last one was the first time I ever didn't one-shot a guy in like the last 50 maps for the map bosses. All right, everybody. So we've got the map bosses down one-shotted. What about the mercenaries? Oh, there it was. This is the same courtyard map with the 23% more monster life. Tier 5 rare, 23% more monster life. One shot, baby, on the mercenary. Heck yes. All right, here we go. Tier 5 rare courtyard number 2, 15% more monster life. We've got a strength-based mercenary, I believe. These are often a little bit harder to go ahead and one-shot, but I'm going to try and... where do we get to? Oh, not so good that time. All right, everybody. Tier 5 rare map. It's an atoll. We're up against a sniper mercenary. Let's see if I can show off one more final. Totally clean. Oh, what do we get? Not quite. All right, let me try one more time. All right, here we go. 23% more monster life. Oh, all right, whatever. I'm going to know it. Rare tier 5 here, frozen cabins. Can I get the one shot? No. Oh, do we call that a one shot? Does that count? Pretty darn close, if not. All right, here we go. Tier 5 rare map against a Wither Touch Mara the Vile. Normal monster life rare map tier 5. Geez, she's got 2 uniques. All right, I'll take one, whatever. All right, here we go. Oh, there we go. Clean. It's clean, everybody. Oh, yeah. Everybody, these were not cherry-picked. These were all consecutive mercenaries, so you saw exactly what it's like right now for my build. So just as in the last video, we're not one-shotting every single mercenary, but I think we're basically bang on the money once again for like kind of like average. Like the expected value is basically like, you know, 50% or whatever. Everybody, I've started doing betrayal in this in these white maps, which has been really cool actually. And we're gonna talk about through that video. In fact, maybe I'll go ahead and do that next, and then we'll also go ahead and talk about the build items. I'm going to show you my upgrades, kind of key upgrades, all the money I spent, stuff like that. So stay tuned. Here we go. Let's move on to the next stuff here. All right, we are buying a 4 divine awakened elemental damage with attacks support that takes us from a regular one at level 19. This gives you 33% more. This gives you 36% more, and it's almost leveled. I think I actually kind of got a little bit of a deal, maybe a 1 divine discount potential on that because it's almost leveled up. So it'll end up being 37 from a 34. So it's like a 4% bump. I'll take it on a more multiplier. All right, next up, I am buying for 1 divine orb. I think this is kind of a steal. This hood right here, it's got an abyssal socket. I don't know if people ever really look for these abyssal socket items. They're crazy good. Plus 54 dex, 100 life, and 30 cold res. It's about as good as it gets, and a pretty good evasion roll. This may honestly be my final helmet. I'm setting up here for going dexterity with one of the lightning claws. So the best you can do for dexterity is actually, I'm pretty sure these tier 1 dex rolls plus an abyssal socket can also give you some dex, and it basically gives you even better res rolls. So these are pretty crazy good. I was pretty surprised to see this for 1 divine. It was listed for a month, so that's kind of wild to me. All right, next purchase, we've got this foil Ashes of the Stars. It is perfectly rolled, 8 divines. The regular ones that are perfectly rolled are selling for 8 divines, so I'm really surprised to find this. This is a foil-y. It's so pretty, and this is going to match our foil Calandra's Touch ring, which I also bought. I paid, I can't remember it. I actually bought this a little bit. I haven't started using it. It was somewhere between like 6 to 10 divines that I paid for this Calandra's Touch shiny also. So once again, still getting all pretty good deals on all these. I'm paying the same price as just the regulars for all these foils, and they're very cool. Again, this one's perfectly rolled. It's crazy. So this amulet, I'm going to go ahead and slap on my character. This is going to be, according to Path of Building, this is like a 30% boost to my hit damage because of the 30% quality of all skill gems. Dual strike again, the quality, it's got 90% more damage with hits and ailments. Let's see if I put this on, if it goes ahead and shows what happens here. Oh, have a total of 300% quality on all socketed gems. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now we can see, look at this. It went from 90% more damage with hits and ailments to 135% more. So it's yet again another axis that we're scaling this on by scaling the quality up. And I may even use a Diala's Malefaction in this video just to start one-shotting these mercs. Their HP is kind of crazy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and swap that neck out. All I have to do is allocate the Tribal Fury back on it so I get my melee splash again. I gotta have my melee splash and make sure my resistance is all right. And that's that. Another purchase down. All right, everybody. I am paying 36 Divine just for this video because I'm gonna end up switching this to a Doriana's Catalyst, but whatever. I wanted to get some one-shots and I wanted to try to stick to pure LE dual strike, and this is how I'm gonna do it. Okay. I literally just bought this one for 1 div, but it's not quite getting me there. I've already tested it out because of the blue sockets. So, all right, 36 divs down the drain. Talked them down from 40 divs. Small 10% discount. Here we go, everybody. This is going to get us there, I think. All right, not a huge purchase, but I do want to go ahead and start switching my helm out to a crazy one I bought that has a jewel socket. Looking for some dex, solid damage, stuff like that, resistances. So I'm taking my helm that was really sick. 100 life, 75 res, 17 rarity. And I'm going to be switching that out with this guy, which has got 500 evasion, 100 life, only 30 res, 54 dex. We're getting ready to switch into lightning dex style. This gives me another 10 dex, and then it's got like 40 res and 20 life. So kind of even-ish trade, but we're setting up for a dex build, and we got the 500 evasion, which is what we're really looking for as an actual good base with good defense rolls. Now, everyone, for my Atlas, I decided to do something totally different this league, and I decided to actually go Syndicate. I'm actually going to go ahead and run my first safe house now. Don't ask me how any of this stuff works. I barely know myself. I watch the main YouTube videos that everybody else is watching and talking about. I can't remember the guy's name, Spinflins or something. Why am I running Syndicate? It's actually because of Janus Parandus. In transportation, this will give you, I think it was said 40,000 to 50,000 gold. I'm making all of my money off of gold, basically. 40,000 to 50,000 gold for me is like something like 10 to 20 divine orbs right now. So I'm actually thinking this might be I think this may actually be one of the best ways to make money early league, everybody. And yeah, 100% increased experience game. I heard about that in the video. That's actually pretty cool also. So I'm gonna go ahead and start completing a few of these safe houses. I think I'll highlight a couple of the highlights of some of these safe houses. So we'll skip forward to the end of this safe house, and I think I'll throw a few more in, especially with Janus, and kind of see how long it takes me to spawn the Januses. I may even make I'll probably do a follow-up video to this, like a dedicated video on basically just my thoughts on that being potentially the #1 best way to get gold in early in a league, would be to basically use that Janus Parandus to go ahead and get that 40,000 to 50,000 gold, especially once you get the Syndicate board set up correctly. Okay, well, I guess we're already at the end of the safe house. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show some highlights from some of these Syndicate safe houses that I'm gonna run. This will be my first one, and then we'll just jump forward to the rest and basically just show the rewards that I'm gonna get. And I'm still in tier 5 maps, everybody. And yep, this hideout was a monster level 72. We are still in white maps. All right, so we get to execute this guy. Haku loses all ranks. All right, here we go. Finally, after much trial and error, because I'm not very good at this still yet, I have finally got my second safe house, which is going to be a transportation safe house, and we are going to have a Janus Parandus character I've been so interested in, and whoever this is going to end up being. We may have unlocked a kind of new secret gold hack for me that I'm going to use at the start of every league if this ends up being 40 to 50,000 gold, as I heard on YouTube. Let's see what happens. Okay, and then there's that. Okay, this was 2-star, and I'm pretty sure that once again these are both going to go back to where they were after this, because there's only 2. Okay, I've got 42,000 gold. Okay, how much is that going to be? Okay, that's 10,000. All right, 52,000. It's another 10,000, 61, and about another 10,000. So about 30,000. I still don't even know if it matters if it's leader or not, but we're going to show a couple of those. I'm only going to keep running this safe house for now. So we'll do a little montage of a couple more of those and see. All right, next safe house. Here we go. Vegan is still the leader, one-shotted, and then one-shotted. Now, I did take a little bit of a risk. I don't know what's going to happen here. I had 1 floater. Elrion was a floater, not assigned to anything. I'm trying to clear the research out a little bit, so I'm going to have 2 in research, and I'm going to have 2 in transport. Going to go ahead and execute. So we got 3 treasure piles. All right, I'm at 20,000 gold. By the way, that went way faster this time. Ooh, that looks like kind of a lot. Okay, that was 14,000. We started at 20,000. That was a lot as well. All right, from 20,000, wow, to 59,000, so 40,000 gold. All right, and so this is my first encounter after that, and let's see what happens here. Oh no, the Elrion moved into the leader slot, but Perandus is still in the second slot, so fortunately it didn't totally mess up my board. In fact, I can actually kind of use that, it looks like. So I could actually, it looks like you can swap the leader with a floater, and I wanted to get Vagan out of there. I'm actually going to probably move Vagan to research. So that actually worked out pretty well. All right, everybody, we're going to do one more of this style of gold gain safe house here. All right, one-shotted. So yeah, I don't have Gravicius anywhere. I don't know where Gravicius is. Oh, got an all flame that time finally. And so let's look at this one more time, everybody. I've got 71,000 gold. And then I think I'm going to do basically a dedicated video. I think just talking about this as probably like the best possible gold farming. So about 10K each time. 70 to 80 to 90 to 99, so pretty much exactly 30,000. So it's been basically right around exactly 30,000 every time. So I won't show any more of that for this video, but yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much every league from now on. My starter strategy for getting gold pretty quick, because you can actually get the filled up pretty quick. Sometimes in maps you get like 30 or even 40 out of 100 filled up in one shot. All right, this is my first research safe house. I am killing Guff at 3 stars. Finally got him. Okay, one tapped him. I've got another random 3-star. One tapped, and I'll go ahead and show you. Let's go ahead and look one more time here at what I got here. So again, I've only got 2 research members, but I've got some, like I got 2 floaters. And so as I understand it, one of these floaters will go into the leader spot, which is not what we want at all. I actually want to keep Guff in here, but it's okay. I'm still kind of messing with the board and figuring this whole mechanic out, et cetera, et cetera. But I definitely wanted to show at least one of these off in this video. My first time crafting, this is a really crazy one, having this guy at 3 stars. So go ahead and execute him. Oh, a Veiled Chaos Orb. Okay, and that's finally my first time getting an actual 3-star leader one. Veiled Chaos Orb, I believe, is like 40 or 50 chaos, and the All Flame, I don't know, we'll see. So my plan here is going to be to try to craft negative lightning res rings, of course. Now, this one has lightning res already on it. That cannot go negative, so it is basically not great for what we're trying to do here, but the other thing, we've got 90 seconds, is you can try to also, this is my first time, I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, first thing, I guess I'll just bless it up to try to get the 16. Okay, there's the 16. Then we'll go ahead and alch it up. Okay, so what I'm going to be looking for is pretty much just, I'm going to try to just get this good stuff. Those are all actually really good. Int, rarity. Okay, that's pretty solid. Let's try one more and see what I get. Evasion. It's kind of whatever. All right, we'll keep the evasion roll on it. I'm going to show this one time. Everybody, if you're interested in this, ooh, look at this. Look at where we're at now. Life. Okay, I think this is going to be the one. All right, yeah, I think that's good enough. We can't actually get a true negative lightning res one on this. Let me try to divine this a little bit. I should have checked the rolls. I'll just try to get the res up a little bit. They're both 29. Okay, let's max on both those. 50 int. All right, we might get something kind of interesting here. So let's go ahead and do it. I think we get to take both, right? So what did we end up with? We ended up with, I was hoping to get maybe one that basically just had really high bonuses on both. So this one's got 70 int, and it's got minus lightning res, and it's got a really nice cold res, and only minus max mana. This one right here might be something decent here. 70 int, good cold res, but since it's got the plus 16 lightning res, you could, I guess maybe I should have actually blessed this down. So I just wanted to show this off one time, everybody. I am going to be keeping Guff in every single research I do. I'm going to have him at 3 stars. I think I'm going to make like kind of a montage video doing this. So if you want to also come back for that, I think I'll make 1 or 2 montage videos just focused on showing off a bunch of rewards for these members and kind of try to estimate how good they are. So just wanted to show it once in this video. Feel free to also come back for that. I'm always going to do Guff. I haven't decided on my second member yet. We will see. Okay, in the next map. So it is indeed super weird. Oh, wait a second. Okay, Guff ended up going back in. So even though we had 2 floaters that time, Guff actually ended up back in the leader spot. So that's pretty sick. By the way, everybody, for the 0 to Hero series, this All Flame Ember of the Gilded that I just dropped, I guess I have to say real quick as I'm completing. Oh, didn't one-shot. That's a one-shot. And, oh, there's a Hillick. Okay, didn't one-shot that one either. I think you always get an All Flame. Get rid of Reen. I needed to kick Reen out of here because I'm trying to get my Reen over to transportation. And everybody, this All Flame Ember of the Gilded, 0 to Hero series, you shout out big drops, right? This was a 3 to 4 divine drop that I randomly got, plus the Veiled Chaos Orb, which was like 40 or 50 chaos, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, these can be absolutely insane drops that you get. All right, everybody, let's just see what that did to my board actually really quickly as I get a crazy 4-member thing here. Okay, nice. I actually got my Reen out. So So that was fantastic. Jorgen moved in there. We are done with fortification. Reen is out. That's great. Reen will get moved over to transportation. Okay, so I did have 3 members. I thought it totally messes your board up if you have 3 members, but I don't know. Still learning the rules, everybody. And I'm going to ultimately get rid of Tora out of here as my member that's removed because she's kind of rippy, actually. So, all right, that's cool. So Janice and Reen will be my transportation. Guff and somebody research. That'll be my 2-2-5-5, and you may see that finished board in the next video. All right, everybody, another huge, kind of huge trade here, huge-ish. 8 divines. Look at the Eyes of the Great Wolf we're buying. We're buying this one for the future because I'm going to switch into lightning damage. Doriana's prototype. That is the plan anyways. This Eyes of the Great Wolf, it has, of course, the lightning damage from hits taken as fire at the normal roll, but it also has increased attributes at the maximum 16%. It's a perfect roll. I would say these are typically about 20 divine plus from what I've seen. I got this one for 8, so I would say a pretty good deal on it, to be honest. And I'm probably going to end up stacking decks. That'll be in the next video, probably one of the next videos when I try to take this all the way. So that was a pretty cool pickup. It was either going to be that or crit multi, and I'll just switch it out for crit multi and buy that one too if I need to. So doing a little setup here for the future. All right, everybody, we've got probably the biggest purchase that is going to happen in this video and maybe for this entire league. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks of 20 divs plus 10 more gives us 110 divs. I am getting it. He listed it for 115, and this is what we're getting, everybody. So everybody, it's like the commercial on YouTube that you get that I don't know why YouTube allows it, where the chick always says stop spiraling and just get pie if you don't like ads. Well, I'm gonna kind of create my own new version of that, which is everybody, if you're having difficulty with PoE, like, come on, stop spiraling about the difficulty of PoE, just buy a mage blood. All right, and right now the going price is I think like 90 divs for a mage blood, something like that. So we're overpaying by about 20. I still think this is a fine deal. The rolls are really good, actually. Let's go ahead and check this guy. There's a 49 dex out of 50, 24 out of 25 fire res, 22 out of a possible 25 cold resistance. So the rolls are great. It's also foily, which is pretty sick. And of course, we've got the leftmost 4 magic utility flax constantly in use, which is the necessity. We'll roll the strength up. We'll also quality this up to get the dex and the strength up even a bit higher. So yeah, everybody, just stop spiraling and get rich and buy a mage blood. Watch my flipping videos if you don't know how to get 110 divs with relative ease, I guess I would say. All right, let's talk about the POB here for a little bit. All right, so I promised you 2 million damage in one hit in this video. I'm assuming in the title probably. If we look at our average damage in one hit, we are doing 2,037,000. So basically right on the dot for 2 million damage. All right, that is without using my tincture. So I'll show you what that goes up to actually here in a minute. It is actually a lot more than 2 million, as you'll see here in a minute. And sorry, I know these videos are always probably quite a bit longer than expected, but I like to be thorough. So let's go ahead and look through here. I'm going to be as fast as I can, everybody. So the tree should look probably pretty similar to the last zero hero I did. I don't think I really changed anything pretty much up here. One thing I did that I haven't mentioned yet is I did go ahead and slot on this rune graft of Gemcraft. This is not really the slot where you'd necessarily want to put it. Yeah, you can just put it over here on this one, this Tincture Max Tree, which I'm not using. I was actually using a Queen of the Forest to actually do kind of chill clearing maps and like speed rushing the betrayal stuff. But then I switched to the Dialas to kind of finish the video off and try to get a bunch of one-shots on a bunch of mercenaries. And so I went ahead and popped this in this slot. But, you know, if you were playing it yourself, you wouldn't be doing what I'm doing with the Dialas. You'd just be, you know, using something else. So anyways, this gave me, okay, well, you can see here, if you unallocate it, it's probably too small to see, but it says it removes about 2.5% off of my average hit damage. By the way, just super lightning quick reminder, how am I doing 2 million damage in one hit? Well, I am using the skill Dual Strike here, and Dual Strike says you get 100% more crit chance against enemies that are on full life, and you get I've got 184% more damage with hits and ailments against enemies that are on full life. And when you couple this, of course, with the tree, as I've mentioned in every video, when I've got my ascendancy, I get also my 100% more crit chance against enemies that are on full life. So this is kind of a meme build where we're just trying to one-shot everything if we can. Everything starts on full life. We get 100% more crit chance. From our ascendancy here, I also took Opportunist. Still haven't even done the 2 final ones yet. All right, Opportunist gives me 25% more damage against a rare or unique enemy. That's calculated in here. This also gives me Culling Strike, which actually that's technically not even calculated in this 2 million. So it's actually more than 2 million because they have Culling Strike. And this also gives me a 40% crit multiplier. And then in my skills, I've got Elemental Weakness on a Blasphemy. So everybody's getting their weaknesses bonuses down on their LE resists, and I went ahead and switched to Grace to get myself a little bit of defenses. So these are the two that I'm using as Grace and Elemental Weakness right now. And then you also use Ambush, and Ambush gives you an extra 140% crit multiplier. Actually, in this video that you were watching, I kind of didn't use the Ambush a few times, so actually some of those probably would have still been one-shots if I would have got myself the extra 140% crit multiplier. This Ambush is kind of hard to do against the Mercenaries because they want to like start using auras and stuff at the very beginning that make it a lot harder to one-shot them. So if I ambush, they can potentially get that. You have to kind of time it perfectly if you wanted to do this crazy meme stuff I'm doing. All right, but so then our main skill is going to be Dual Strike, and I got a lot of bonus to my average hit damage just from between now and the last video, just from leveling a bunch of this stuff up, buying leveled up ones. I told you I bought this Awakened Elemental damage with attacks, so that gave me like 5% more damage. All right, LE Pen has been leveled up to 20. This is a 21, and these both got leveled up a little bit. I got these Awakened, added Cold, and added Lightning, and I've got my Dual Strike at a 23% quality. So all of the gems are a little bit better than last time, and then they also have like +4 to the levels on all. My weapons were pretty much exactly the same. I upgraded one with a bit more expensive one, but it didn't even really move the needle on my damage. So to be honest, everybody, I'm kind of done with this kind of tri-LE, just kind of generic tri-LE claw things. I don't think I can scale this up to one-shot mercs anymore. I may actually look in between this video and the next one. I think I may actually look up finally on Google and look at what other people did. Everything for now has been kind of my own creation, but I think it's time to look and see, because I'm kind of out of ideas, and I don't usually like to consult other people's builds and stuff because I like to kind of try to solve the puzzle myself. But eventually you've kind of, you've used up all of the tricks that you have in your book. So the only thing you can really do then is pretty much look at other people's builds. So I've kind of started doing that a little more than I used to now. All right, I already went over the fact that we got the Diala's Malefaction. You can maybe you can see, maybe you can't, because again, it's tiny letters, but this right here alone is giving me about, it says 26% to my average damage. So, and that matches what I noticed when I switched out. Again, I've been using Queen of the Forest for kind of chill clearing. And then for this video, kind of memeing out on this video, trying to one-shot everything. This Diala's Malefaction gives green sockets plus 30% quality. So you put the Dual Strike in there, it gets 30% quality. And that's a huge multiplier from the quality. And then all the other things are getting +2 level to gems. And even some of my gems would have even benefited more from the quality, but whatever. This one had the crazy corruption of +1, and it was 6 linked. So I went ahead and went with this one. And then we've got the Ashes of the Stars, which I showed that I bought in this one. And it says that it only removes 20% average damage from the hits, but I think it was more like 30%. Both of these, when I did it, gave me about 30%, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know, it says 20%, so I guess it must be right. All right, got the Mage Blood. That's pretty much all defenses. And I guess that's it, everybody. And then I've got this final tincture. So every time I try to one-pop a Merc or a map boss, I go ahead and pop this tincture. It gives me about 160% LE damage with melee weapons, 20% quality tincture well rolled, and it's got 35% increased effect. And it's also got the melee weapon damage penetrates about 30% of resistance. Plus, everybody, I've got a bunch of tincture nodes on my tree. So my 2 million one-shots, everybody, in reality, were actually 4.9 million damage per hit against basically everything when I had that tincture popped. And that is also including the ambush. So it actually has this calculated with the ambush. And in the video, sometimes I wasn't. I think that this 4.9 million damage, so let's just call this 5 million damage, everybody. I think that this 5 million damage was pretty much bang on, spot on, about where you need to be if you want to one-shot mercs on a pretty kind of semi-reliable basis. Because elemental damage, like if you look at this claw, it does 10 to 225 lightning damage. I mentioned this in the last video. Because the ranges on these are so huge, I feel like, maybe you're one-shotting about 50% of the time. When you get kind of your median, average, whatever mean hit, you're probably one-shotting. So I'm going to take a guess and estimate and say that this 5 million is probably about right for tier 5 white maps one-shotting mercs with kind of the expected average, whatever, expectation probability, whatever you want, of like maybe 50%, something like that. Like if you actually hit this specific average hit instead of these really low rolls that you can get also. All right, so I'll talk more about this in the next video. One thing I really want to do is I want to get rid of this additional accuracy because this is killing a 6 slot in my 6 link. All of my gem links are going to change because I'm planning on swapping to lightning damage and using a Doriani's prototype. Big surprise, everybody. And I'm pretty sure that's going to way boost my damage. Like I said, I'm kind of out of ideas for this one. Let me know if you have any ideas for how to significantly boost just a generic LE character like this. And I will update you fully in the next video on kind of, again, all the changes I do to try to, get this 5 million damage up to, I don't know, 10 million or whatever I need it to be to one-shot the mercs in all the yellow maps. All right, everybody. And so to finish this video off, final thing here is I'm just going to run a map, everybody. We're running my first tier 6 map, and you're going to get to just see what the gameplay of this is like. It's my first yellow of the league so far. Kind of crazy. By the way, these are the scarabs I was running. I was running 2 scarab of adversaries, and this one was originally the scarab that gives the rare monsters 2 extra modifiers, which was really good. Actually, it felt really good for early gold game, but I ended up switching it to this betrayal scarab of reinforcements just because I was making so much gold off of these Janishes. And there you go. We'll be out after this map, and I'll refresh them. And we're going to do this kind of chill mapping style. So I'm going to take off this Diala's, which was a little bit more meme style and show you more what it looked like for the kind of chill style. I ended up just using Queen of the Forest. I don't really have any big special reason why. I literally just kind of remembered I used to use it in the past eons ago when I played this game a long time ago, and it was just always a good chest. But the thing that I realized with this is it's got that 1% increased movement speed per 600 evasion rating, and you know, I'm using a Mage Blood now. What am I combining the Mage Blood with? I'm using a plus 1500 evasion rating, which becomes some other crazy number, and then I'm also using this 40% increased move speed, and then finally a increased rarity of items. And this, you know, I could up this to 4 flasks, and then there's another one that gives, I think, more evasion, so you can get this all the way up on the move speed. And the thing is when you're playing this dual strike style, kind of meme build-ish that I'm actually playing here. Oh, okay, we got some new storyline. Did it start in the yellow maps and I've wasted all this time not getting it? And I wanted to show you this because, you know, again, just in case you're interested in actually playing this build for yourself, you'll know what this looks like. Okay, so that should be the Maven. I'm not going to edit anything out of this unless it makes sense, like his conversation, things like that, because I just want to show you, you know, what does this gameplay look like? It's a little bit clunky. You know, let's say you wanted to, and actually I think next league I'm going to start this same thing. Oh my gosh, our collie's running around here. Where is that? That guy? Okay. Because, you know, and I want to basically kind of talk about the pros and cons. So the first con of playing this style build, as you can see, just look at the clear radius. Like I'm insta-shotting everything, but look at the clear radius, you know? I'm missing so much stuff. Like it takes me so many hits to actually clear everything off of the screen. That would be, I would say, the number one. And I'll also edit these out as well, everybody. All right, so yeah, so the number one con is just the radius of the clear. Look, there's 4 guys here, and you know that one's still alive. You know, this is terrible AoE radius. And in case I didn't already mention this again, or in this video, or you missed the last one, I'm getting my AoE from my amulet. It's this Ash of the Stars allocates Tribal Fury. That gives me melee splash, and the melee splash radius is really bad. So I mean, look at how hard it is to just clear. Look at this, and then you miss. You miss all that. I'm doing this obviously on purpose, but this happens a lot where it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I have something set. Let me know in the comments if I need to set something else where it's got better kind of auto targeting. I mean, look at how many times this is crazy. All right, now that was intentionally. Now obviously, as you play through, the thing is, I don't even really clear these trash mobs, because I'm making all my money off of just gold gain. And actually, let's talk about that also while we're finishing up this last map here. Okay, let's go ahead and kill this boss here. See if we can get a one shot on our first tier 6 here. Let's clear all the trash first. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pop my flask, use this, and boom, one shot. Unsurprising there. Oh, and we get the Maven's Beacon. Cool. All right, so there you go. First tier 6 one-shotted. Come back from the next video. Consider subscribing and all that if you like this stuff. And I'm gonna show, basically working my way again through and one-shotting all of the map boss tiers. So yeah, let me now show you kind of how I would play it. Even though it is very clunky, if I'm playing this, I'm basically hitting all the rares and I'm hitting the magic packs and I'm just ignoring the trash. And even if I clear a magic pack, I might just leave, you know, a couple behind. Like I wouldn't necessarily go back and go after those. And I don't really use this. This is where the Queen of the Forest actually kind of makes a lot of sense if you wanted to actually use this kind of one shot. So like here, you know, I'm just skipping all that stuff if I'm actually playing. There's a blue pack, I get in the middle of it, I pop it. There's a rare, I get in the middle of the pack. And if I want to clear the trash, I'll hit 2 more times, clear everything. All right, let's see how I do against this mercenary. Ooh, is that considered a one shot if the fire gets it? I don't know. Anyway, I do actually think it's very fun, even despite the clunkiness. And the thing with the dual strike, everybody, is because you only get these huge hits whenever the enemy's on full life. If you actually whirling blades around, like right here, you might whirling blades in the guy, get him down, and then you actually can't one shot him. You know, if it's a rare or some magic packs or whatever it is, because you've got them. Like these 2 rares, if I whirling blades first, I'm doing damage. And I might get them off of full life. Then when I use it, I used my dual strike, and big surprise, it didn't kill them and only dealt half the health. Now, if they would have been on full life, it would have definitely killed them in one shot. So I actually kind of like this style, this Queen of the Forest style, and actually going with this move speed. I've almost never played builds like this. I used to see them in the past all the time, but now I'm thinking if you wanted to play this yourself, probably go with, maybe you could just try for like the early, you know, maps, doing something like this. Just get yourself a Queen of the Forest and, you know, just, you know, stop spiraling and get yourself a Mage Blood, and then just run, you know, with your movement speed, do this. And then, you know, just don't really whirling blades. Unless there's just a big patch of nothingness, then you can whirling blades if it speeds it up a little bit. All right, go ahead and kill these guys here. And that's basically going to be the wrap for the video, everybody. The only final thing is just, yeah, how I'm making my money. I made 90% of my money off of just gold gain. Whoa, everybody. I'm talking too much here. get my tincture in here. And then I like to actually block out this fortification. So I'm going to have Leo give me +12 fortification. That's going to put it to 100%. That's going to guarantee I'm going to get more transportations to try to get my Janus going. And I finally got this Gravicius to appear. He was hidden out of my board, and I've got him in the leader slot. So I managed to get it all figured out here. I've got everything about where I want it, except for the research still. I've got this Corel here. So that'll block out my fortification for the next one. It won't appear. It guarantees transportation. And everybody, if you want to know how I made all this money, I made it all with gold. I was getting about 60k gold per hour, just running maps normally. And then I started getting these Janus Paranduses. And once that started happening, you know, now I'm getting these random 30 to 40k gold pops just every time that pops, I get 30, 40k gold. Right now, I am converting gold into divines at a rate of, I would say, better than 2k per divine. Probably more like 1 point something k, which is actually kind of insane. All right, there will probably be, in fact, I'm going to end the video now. If you look on the screen, there's probably a link to my flipping on the currency exchange playlist. If you want to see how I do that, go ahead and check it out. I'm not going to explain it in every video, as always. That's why I made the whole playlist to begin with, because it's crazy currency game. I made about maybe 15 divines flipping one item that I bought, and then I ended up selling it for, I profited 15 divines. And then I sold a couple items, as you saw, like 4 divine all flame, and there was another item, a helmet for 9 divs that had a sweet infamy thing on it, and plus basically perfectly rolled. And everybody, I think that's it. I think I did it. Come back next time if you want to see me kind of dominate the yellow maps. Finally done with the whites. Oh my gosh. Spending way too much time in these tiers. It's crazy.